Welcome to the On Stage podcast, where we interview musicians and members of the entertainment community. Welcome, everyone, to another podcast. And we have a group by the name of LouD. We're all lowercase, but the D is big. And I don't actually have my headset because they're so loud. This band is a 4-member band from Virginia, and there's one missing, of course. His name is Brian. He's the bassist. He's also a cancer survivor as well. I don't know if you're able to speak for him when we get to that, but we're going to mention. Okay, so everyone, can you introduce yourself before I say anything? Everyone, this 4-member band is from Virginia. 3 band members are from Lynchburg, while the bassist, who we know, Brian, who's not here, is from Roanoke. And they've been playing since 2015, and the band has had its trials and tribulations, such as replacing musicians, going strong through COVID, even when venues were closing, etc. In 2023, the band played all over Virginia to North Carolina, even got to play for 2 days during Bike Week at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. And in 2024, this year, they will be debuting in Hampton, Portsmouth, Smith Mountain Lake, Roxboro, North Carolina, as well as debuting at Virginia 420 Festival. And this is just beginning, and 2024 hasn't even gotten here yet. Okay, so everyone, can you introduce yourself, what instrument you play, and give us a little bit of a backstory? We're going to start with Chris, the drummer.
Yes, sir. How long have we been playing together? 10 years? 9 years?
8, something like that.
Yeah, I started at a very young age and never thought it'd be now going as far as we did, but I'm glad we did it. So,
You gotta say what you do, Chris.
I'm a drummer, of course. I'm not a bass player. I'm here, you know.
What's your last
Pure, genuine conversation. That's what I like. So can you just... So, Johnny, tell us about, how did you get into music and deciding the guitar is what I want to play? And he says here that you connect to every note you strum to become one with each song. It's sort of like you're the guru of guitarists. Can you give us a little bit of a background on that?
I wouldn't say all that, but I just love the guitar, and I used to, when I wanted to first learn how to play when I was young, about 13, 14 years old, my dad used to sing in church, and I'd take his acoustic guitar and just slide up and down the fretboard and figure out little notes. And then I ended up taking lessons and buying my first guitar at 15 years old. And my 96.3 came on the radio, and I heard all the good rock and roll from Led Zeppelin to Scorpions to Van Halen and Metallica. And I said, I want to learn how to do that. And my parents didn't think I was going to stick with it, so they made me buy my first guitar and pay for my lessons. And I did that for about 6 or 8 months, and after that, I just been on my own playing music and playing songs and being in bands, and got into LouD, and here we are 8 years later or so, and just done accomplished more than any band I've ever been in, and just a great bunch of guys to play with, and just love playing music.
So I suppose when it says that you connect to every note, Cory, I'd like to hear from you. Is it true that as a vocalist that you dig deep into your soul with every note you sing to express the proper emotional needed so that everyone can feel the music? Is that true?
I would say yeah, because when I sing, I put a lot of emotion into my music. Some songs I'm able to connect to more than others on a personal level, so it's easier to express my emotions. Singing it's a stress reliever for me, so like I enjoy getting on stage and being able to let my emotions out in a healthy way.
Chris, as the drummer, you play the drums as if matched to your heartbeats. Is that just an expression or is that true? Have you tested it out? How would you test it out? Wait. Okay.
Could you repeat the question? No, it's I think the drums carry the whole shooting match as far as tempo. It could set the mood. It could calm you down. It could rally you up. Things get to moving when you hear the first downbeat. You know, not taking anything away from these guys because we all won, but we each hold our own, and can't say enough for the guys. But I think percussion takes the prize here, as far as
Of course.
emotions and heartbeat. And I mean, it races at the end of the night. People watch me play, and you can tell I'm struggling back here. But you know,
I
42 years of doing this stuff, it's starting to become fun. So
I will say, as the night goes on and Chris's heart does start beating, his timing gets a little faster too. So I would say it is with his heartbeat and with every drum beat.
pushing you guys along. Come on, man.
I'd like to know how you each met each other personally and how you connected through music.
Oh man! All right, so this is a long story. I'll explain how Brian even came in the mix. So I was in a band, and our guitar player decided that he was going to quit, and we were just a 4-piece band, and so I ended up joining another group. First I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try to start my own band, right? And so I went out to karaoke one night, and Chris was there, and a friend of mine was like, hey man, you know he's a drummer, right? And I was like, nah, you shit me, right? So I went over and I said, hey man, I said, you interested in playing the drums for us? I said, I already got a bass player. I said, we can find a guitar player. And he was like, man, I ain't played, how long was it? Like 10
years.
Yeah, he said, I ain't played the drums in 10 years, man. And I was like, it ain't too late to start. So Chris came on board. I already had a bass player from a previous band. He's no longer with us. We did have a guitar player who helped us get started, but me and him bumped heads a lot. He was, we were both trying to be the alpha of the band, and it just didn't work out that way. And so we actually ended up taking a break for like a year. And during that year, I joined another band, and that's when I met Johnny. And I was like, man, he's a good guitar player, man. So we ended up doing one gig. It was a New Year's Eve gig. And then after that gig, the band broke up. And so I called Johnny. I said, hey, man, I'm trying to put my old band back together, and we need a guitar player. And he was like, all right, man, I'll come on board. And, man, he came over, and we ended up doing a first gig one time. This was before Johnny and Brian joined the band. We did a first gig, which was a cancer benefit in Roanoke, Virginia. And Brian and his current band at the time were on the bill for the benefit. So that's when I met Brian Jones. And after we went through a couple of bass players that didn't work out, I put an ad out. Brian had just recovered from cancer. I don't remember exactly what cancer it was. I just know that it was. They told him he had like 6 to 9 months to live or something like that. And today he's cancer free. But
3 years later.
Yeah, 3 years later,
Wow.
cancer free.
Miracle.
He responded to our post for a bass player, and since he came on board, like we just got the perfect combination of musicians. I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody. Um, we all feed off each other's energy. Um, if I mess up words, the band will just follow me and just go wherever it is in the song. Like we just mesh really well. You know what I mean? And I can't thank the guys enough for what they've done for me.
A lot of experience.
Yeah.
Wow. So Brian had to share with you his story, how he got cancer, and now he's cancer free.
He was actually to the point where he didn't think he was even going to be able to play bass ever again. I mean, they literally told him he was on his deathbed. Talking to him about his experience, he has explained to me that he felt this something leave his body in the middle of the night, and when they did his blood work at the hospital the next day, he said they said something's got to be wrong because your blood work's showing no signs of cancer ever in your body. Like it just left his body, man. This band isn't just a group of musicians. We've all become family, and we look out for each other.
Can I join the band? Okay. We need close-knit people around.
Do you play the keyboard?
No, I'm a vocalist, actually.
Uh,
I'm
we
tempted to
need a
learn the
keyboard.
bass. I want to learn the bass, actually. I hear it's
Yeah.
easy some way.
I've been wanting to
Brian makes it look very easy, but
too easy.
Wow. Um, can you tell us about the back to school drive where you had 4 shows and you accepted school supplies to donate to a local school? Tell us about that. How did that make you feel emotionally, spiritually?
um, we try to give back to the community. We all have agreed that we'll do 2 benefits a year. Um, we did a blanket drive for Christmas. We did the back to school drive. Um, it's, I mean, times are hard for everybody, and especially with the way cost of living has rose, and then nobody else's income is rising, but everything else is. Like it's hard for some families to afford stuff, especially if they have multiple kids. Um, so I was like, why don't we try to help? And so I got with the guys, I got with April, I got with Kathy, our manager, um, and we put the word out there, and we had a really good turnout for it, actually.
Yeah. What makes it more interesting and more amazing band such as you is that you most recently did a blankets for the homeless where you allotted 5 shows and accepted donations of blankets and 35 exactly. That's amazing. Tell us about that. Like that must like how did that make you feel?
It really made me feel good. Um, I think that the day we actually delivered them, um, it was me and David Jenkins. We all got to me and him went down there to the Daily Bread, which is a soup kitchen basically for the homeless. Um, we parked right outside. I opened my door. We told everybody that was in line for food what we were doing. Um, we had people asking if they could get their kids blankets, even if they weren't necessarily homeless. I know quite a few of the people that did get blankets were homeless, but they were just people in need that needed that help, and it made me feel really good to be able to um, to give that help with the help of our fans and the venues. One of the venues actually collected blankets for us before we played, and they had a whole shopping cart full of blankets for us.
Wow. Yeah, but
It's great to see. It's great to see other people there. You know what I'm saying? Like we all need to be. We all need to look out for each other. Like so. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it wasn't just 35 blankets. You gave also gloves, personal hygiene products. Like, wow, that's
Yeah,
that's an act
we
of
had
love
people.
right there.
Yeah, we had actually fans actually donated those care packages for the cause because they knew what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We had one lady who donated just Christmas cards that said "You were loved," like had a little candy cane on it and everything. Like people need to know that there are people who do care about them. We have a great group of fans who help us with this. Like both of our drives we did this year, our fans helped out tremendously. They donated book bags, they donated backpacks, the scissors, like all kinds of different school supplies. It was, and then the blanket drive that was just amazing. It was it's just great. It's great that the community comes together like that.
I take it that the blankets have to be like dry cleaned and just
No, they were all basically brand new blankets.
okay.
Like there were throws, there was actual full size blankets. Um, like yeah, we had a lot of brand new items to be able to hand out.
What is the main purpose of LouD?
So with the covers we do now, um, we do a huge variety of genres of music. Um, we do country, we do rock, we do
R&B,
little R&B, you know. And granted, even if we do a country song and it sounds like a rock song, like it still draws attention to the country people. So like when we start doing our original music, I'm probably not just going to stick with one genre of music. We're probably still going to keep it multi-genre just to attract everybody's attention.
So basically, there must be something about your music that changes lives.
I would probably say it would be the emotion that each one of us put into it. I've seen people cry. I've seen people laughing. I've seen people smiling. Like I've seen a lot of emotions from the crowds, from people in the crowd. The interaction from the crowd, like it all helps.
Downbeat, we got it. We own it.
You said cover songs. How long? Like, give us an idea of the covers that you have done recently, and what is your creative process to put those covers together?
So we actually, all right. So we actually have 3 cover songs that we have completely changed from the originals and made them our own. One of those would be "Unsteady" by the Ex Ambassadors. That is actually the first song that we ever completely changed and made our own. Um, I know Brian has said that that's his favorite song that we perform. It's probably my favorite song that we perform, just because it was the first song that we actually completely made our own. The only thing that's the same is the words, pretty much. And then we've got Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. We just released that out on Spotify.
Wow.
It's kind of a metal version of it, right? Really like hard rock version. I also include the live verse from when Garth Brooks used to do it live. He doesn't do it live now, but um, it's a mysterious verse that was not previously recorded. Um, a lot of Garth Brooks fans who've seen him live um, have come up to me at shows and said, "Hey, man, I really like the fact that you added that last verse in there." Like, once you listen to that song, it's not supposed to be a sad country song. It's meant to be a I hate your freaking guts song. You know what I mean? Um, like that's what that song is about, and that's how we put it out in music form in that way. And a lot of people appreciate that. And then another song that we have completely changed is "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins. We rock it. We rock it out. Phil Collins does like one drum solo. Chris does like 7 in the whole thing. So
Wearing it out.
like it's just it. I love the way we do it. The crowd loves it. One song that we have always done for the last 9 years that we've been a band. We always close every show with "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
Oh, yeah.
Some people show up just to hear that.
A lot of people just show up to hear that, like, and that's why I personally save it till the end of the night, so I make sure they stay all night. But we had one show where we were not able to perform that song, and that's because it was a private party, and the cops said they heard us from 2 miles away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a fun night though.
We were definitely loud.
But yeah, it was like that's our closer song. Like, it's always been our closer song for the last 9 years, and the fans love it. Like, I don't ask anybody to dance the rest of the night. I don't ask anybody for anything the rest of the night. The only thing I ask is the last song of the night. Everybody comes up onto the dance floor and we all rock out together. That's all I ask for. We so what the country songs that we cover are "Bottoms Up" by Brantley Gilbert. Body like a back road. Who's that? Sam Hunt. Yeah, Sam Hunt. We do some Dierks Bentley. We do some Luke Bryan.
Paul Brandt.
Nah.
No.
We have a couple more. We are working on a Toby Keith song in memory of him. So
Toby Keith.
Yeah, we're trying. I grew up in the 90s, so a lot of our music is based around the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's what I grew up listening to, singing to. Like, most of it's in my vocal range. They want to do 80s stuff, and I'm like, dude, I can only go so high.
Wow.
Johnny needs.
No, I can imagine you doing like Thomas Dolby, blinded me with silence, and then you have Chris taking, like, boof, 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 like, why not?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You like playing the drums, you could probably do a version of a Britney Spears song, maybe Taylor Swift. I'm sure you'll be able to, but
I'm trying to figure out a way to cross over. We do a Tracy Chapman song.
Ascara?
We do "Give Me One Reason."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We do "Three Doors Down." We do some Bush. We do.
That's a name I haven't heard
Alice
of.
in Chains.
Alice in Chains. Wow.
Yeah. We do so we do a mashup with Sweet Home Alabama.
Mm.
So we start out with Sweet Home Alabama, and then we go into Kid Rock All Summer Long.
That's what I was thinking. All Summer Long, my favorite song. Wow,
Yeah.
that's quite a
And
mashup.
then,
Ooh.
then when Johnny breaks into a solo, I kind of break out some Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and
Wow.
and then I end up talking about Johnny living in a trailer with his cat named Blue, you know. So yeah,
Where's Blue?
he's right there, man.
What did you think of Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence?
Oh man, I love that. I love Disturbed's Sound of Silence. I've seen it live twice.
Wow.
And it has been, he puts a lot of emotion into that song. Like, you can feel the emotion he puts into it. Like I said, some songs you can personally connect with, and when you can, you express more of yourself in that song. And with that song, he expresses a lot of himself.
Who do you think would be your biggest musical influences, and how have they impacted your style and sound?
All right, Johnny, start off.
Anybody from Led Zeppelin to Scorpions to blues music to Van Halen to Metallica, you name it. It's rock and roll. I love it. I like country too now because it's more rocky, but and I like all genres because it's all seems like it's kind of combining now anyway, which is good. Everything's coming together where you don't just have to classify as one thing. But yeah, I grew up on rock and roll, and that's just what I've always loved. That and country.
What genre do you like better?
Rock and roll. It touches my soul. It's what inspired me to play.
Thank you, Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, it's what inspired me to play guitar. Like I said, when I heard the radio station come out and they were 96.3 and they were playing all these rock musics and stuff I hadn't heard, like Led Zeppelin and stuff I had never heard before. And when I was younger and when I started hearing all that, Scorpions and Metallica, I had to play guitar. I was determined I was going to learn it one way or another.
John Bonham Zeppelin all the way. I think he set the tempo.
Oh yes.
The offbeat, offset, and then I would have to say Tommy Lee, Motley Crue, heavy hitter, marching band, growing up, so forth. So he knew his triplets and quads, ghost notes, so forth. Chili Peppers, Chad Smith. I think he come along at the right time.
Yes.
Phil Collins, not only a great singer, vocalist, but
Man, that
he's
ain't
one
Chad
hell.
Smith. That's
He's
Will
a hell of
Ferrell.
No, but hey, we'll get to that later. We got the drummer for Slipknot, fantastic drummer. Ray Lazier for Korn. He really come along and took over the original drummer spot. So it's a lot of talented drummers. I'm rock drummer all the way, but I enjoy playing the country, the Prince, some of the other stuff. But we get to add our own twist to it, and I really never play the song the same way during each show. So I play something different each time. I don't drink. I ain't drank in 8 years. So.
Hey, you just...
Oh man. You called me out. I passed AA.
Thanks. Chris, who's your favorite drummer and who do you like to be, who would you like to measure up to?
Ray Lazier, the drummer that keeps Korn going. Technique. It looks like he's having a lot of fun. supposed to be hitting hard, but he's got a technique to where he's not really working that hard back there. He got roadies. I mean, I'd like to have everything he's got, but as far as right now, I've got these guys to help me out with my 5,000 pieces, and he shows up with one microphone. Yeah, I'd have to say Korn, Ray Lazier, and then Slipknot with Jay Weinberg. I think he did. Joy Jordison, excellent drummer. I'd hate to when he had to leave, but I've experienced some of the numbness in the calf and the ankle part of your feet because it's constantly going. So I don't know. Might want to get tested for high blood pressure. It could be a little bit of everything. Dealing with these clowns on a nightly basis. So,
do you have a memorable performance or experience as musicians so far, and why?
I think our most memorable, or for me, the most memorable was last year at Bike Week at Myrtle Beach. That so far that has been my most memorable, for me at least.
Skins?
What about you?
Yeah, I like that one too, but it's been a lot of them, man.
But there has been a lot.
I like some of the out when we play out of town and somebody's never heard us before and we blow their minds and they just love us and they immediately just want to follow us and then they start showing up at other shows and even driving out of town to come see us and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I like playing the out of town shows. It's a new fan base for us.
Well,
new crowd.
First time viewers.
Yeah.
Too.
Or even debuts, like when the first time we play places. Like the biggest show we've had this year was down in Virginia Beach, or in Hampton, at the Hampton Moose Lodge.
Who knew they could party?
I mean, that building was completely packed. You couldn't fit another person in there, and it was a new venue for us, a new crowd, and they absolutely came out and rocked with us. And we look forward to those kind of experiences.
It sounds like you get quite a high when you go out there and you perform in front of people, and they're like, "Wow, that's fantastic lyrics, and this is a great cover of which one ever you do." So, I mean, thinking, but how do you guys stay motivated and inspired to continue creating and performing music even during challenging times or creative blocks?
Shoot, I would have to say probably our fans, honestly. I know there've been a few shows where some of us in the band haven't actually, haven't felt right, or haven't been very well, but we still put on a show, just because we don't want to disappoint our fans. Plus we all honestly enjoy it. Like some people look at it as a job, but if you don't enjoy music, there's no reason to even keep playing. A lot of us, I think all of us use it as a stress reliever. I know Chris went through some hard times, and the only thing that really held him together was the band. So, I think it's just that release of energy, and
definitely alters your mood.
Yeah, it definitely alters your mood.
How do you deal with your mental health?
Hit harder.
Mental health is huge too. I know playing in a band and me working a full-time job, I haven't had a lot of time with my family, so sometimes it causes, family issues and stuff, but for the most part, I try to balance it out. But like I said, when you get up there and you perform, it helps release that the emotions inside, whether they're positive or negative emotions. It just helps you get it out. So singing is actually, and I'm pretty sure for these guys, just performing in general is a huge
Part of my life.
contributor to a better positive mental health.
Plus, when the people enjoy it, it's just like a high that's better than anything, alcohol or anything. It's just when people enjoy it, it gives you the drive, and makes you want to just try harder and do
It's that adrenaline
Yeah,
rush,
and just you get that adrenaline, and you just want to feel it, and you just want to put more into it, and even go a little further than you thought you could go, just to see what you can do. And sometimes it works out for you,
To make a bad day bright again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of that sex, drugs, and rock and roll is synonymous with rock music and bands and musicians? What do you think of that?
Talking religion.
I mean that right there, I would say is a true statement. You know, I've been on a road where I've done drugs. I've had sex with random people. Like
So tough one.
it does contribute to that, but you're also not stuck where you're at either. You have the right to choose what actions come to your mind. Like, so one of my meditation podcasts had made a statement that says you cannot control the thoughts that come to your mind. You only have control over the actions behind them. So yes, those things are going to be there. But if you honestly look at it, those things are everywhere else too, not just in rock and roll music. But it's what you do with those options, So.
Yeah, it's sad because we lost many rock artists through drugs and even alcoholism, and it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, we have a Canadian band by the name of the Econoline Crush, and we had the lead singer Trevor Hurst on our podcast, and he says that when his band first got signed, he quit drinking, but he was just on drugs. But this guy's cleaned up his life. I mean, the band is going as strong as ever. It's amazing. How do you balance your personal life with your music, and what sacrifices have you had to make along the way?
We've had to. I think we've all had personal things come about, whether it be personal with us or with our family members. We all kind of lean towards each other. I helped Chris through a lot of hard times. I've helped Johnny through hard times. Me and Brian have talked about hard times. Johnny and Chris have talked. Like I said, we're a family. We're not just a group of musicians. We're a family, and we look out for each other. And that's how we get through our personal and personal trials and tribulations.
Yeah. So, as a band, can you share any advice for aspiring musicians who are just starting out in the industry? Future LouD.
Don't ever give up. You'll get 1,000 no's before you get a yes. Just put your entire soul and energy into what you love, and don't let anybody change who you truly are.
That's good advice. How do you approach live performances, and what kind of message do you hope to convey to your audience?
We want to rock them out.
Well, we kind of all try to show up to every gig at least 2 hours early, set up, and then we have about an hour to just hang out and relax and just talk to each other and just have that intimacy, with the band before we start. We all get right, we get in the right headspace. We all,
Finger yoga.
we discuss. Johnny does his finger stretches, um, all kinds of stuff. But we all do it. We all get together and we all get in the same state of mind before we go on stage. Um, and when we go on stage, that first drop of the guitar or the drums or vocals, whatever, that first drop, that sets the mood for the night.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be pretty difficult to be missing Brian's presence at this time. But when you play as a full band, do you feel sort of empty if, like, let's say all four of you were supposed to play in a venue, but one of you says that they can't do it? Do you, the show must go on, or do you just say, okay, we have to postpone it for another day?
Well, we actually had that. Me and Johnny, well, all three of us did. We actually had that happen once with with a previous bass player before Brian joined, where he actually had a heart attack and he wasn't able to play, and we had like 2 or 3 gigs lined up before he was going to be able to come back, and so we did have to get a couple people to fill in from other bands, which we were very gracious for. But I would say it doesn't have the same feeling when you're all four not together, because you know what the other person's going to do. If you have somebody else there that's not really, that hasn't played enough with you, it might sound great. It's probably going to sound fine. He knows what he's doing, but you're not going to have that same connection and vibe with him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, especially during when we had the pandemic and how difficult it was for you to play in venues when everything, almost the whole world, was pretty well shut down. It must have affected your mental health, must have affected your family life. I mean, for you to even able to go out and perform, wasn't there any opportunity for you to perform online? Many bands started performing online and doing online concerts. Is that
We
something that you started to do?
we did discuss that, but um, we we had a lot of private shows during the pandemic where they were outside in somebody's yard where everybody could be socially distant and we could still perform for everybody and they all have a good time. You know what I mean? Um, at the time, we really didn't have a space big enough to set up for a live concert. We had discussed it at one point, but we never followed through with that. But during the pandemic, we didn't play as much publicly just because of the social distancing. Um, but our fans wanted to hear us, so they paid for us to come to their house and play, and they would have their friends. And
Wow.
so, I mean, it was fun. It was definitely a year that to remember. But I don't think it really impacted us. I don't think it really put a mental strain on us. So, I mean, there was venues that were still booking us during the pandemic, but that a lot of them did stop live music after the pandemic. So that kind of decreased our shows a little bit. But mentally, I don't think it had a strain on us at all.
I can understand that. But so what? How do you So when you're playing, how do you handle criticism, negative feedback about your music? Are there steps that you take to improve your craft?
Um, well, we, you know, over the years, people give us feedback, and we've taken it to heart. We've done everything from upgrading our equipment to getting merchandise because people were requesting that. Um, it's been
they put us where we at.
Song requests, people put in song requests. We try to get to those. Of course, as long as they're in my vocal range, because if not, I'm not going to go out there and try to mess something up. So, but yeah, I would think that would be. We've kind of every criticism or suggestion we have got from our fans, we've tried to either fix the issue or make things better for their experience.
You have to be good. You're all connecting with your instrument, right?
Yep.
Cory, like everything, and like "In the Air Tonight," for instance, by Phil Collins, like that has to be good if you're all becoming one with your instruments. So you're definitely, making your music more and more and more better. So one day you might be able to do that Sound of Silence, Disturbed style.
I would love to do it.
Yeah. But I can imagine Chris will be all over the place.
Oh, I would love an animal off Sesame Street.
You'd definitely be an animal, yeah. That's funny. Can you discuss any challenges or obstacles you faced in playing your music? Like, how did you overcome them?
Well, I will tell you about this. So last year when we were at the beach, my microphone just decided to stop working in the middle of the set. So I ended up.
Oh, wow.
I ended up walking over and kind of nudging Brian out of the way and stealing his microphone so I could sing the rest of the set. Like,
perfect. Wow.
We've had batteries and guitars die. We've had cymbals fall. We've had foot pedals break. We've had strings break. Johnny had an amp blow one time. If something happens to one of us, the rest of us try to keep it going. So the one that does have an issue can try to fix their issue while we're still playing the song, so we don't have as much of a delay in the show. You know what I mean?
Get all the way to the venue and get bored at the house.
Like we played, get all the way to a venue and left the board an hour away at the house. Like we've had to overcome some things, but overall, it's just we all try to cover for each other. Like Brian's wireless set died, so I had to go dig out a cord to help him plug it in. You know what I mean? So like while I'm digging a cord out, I'm still singing a song, following the drummer and the guitar player. Like it's just we got to all have each other's backs to get through stuff like that.
Like, describe your songwriting process. So let's say we're talking about a cover song, and you were commissioned to do. We're talking about Steve Tyler. Okay, so he says, "I want you guys to do a cover song of Jamie's Got a Gun." How would you do that? How would you approach that?
That would be a pretty huge experience. I think at that point I would definitely push my vocal ranges a little bit to make that happen. But I think we would probably put our own touch to it. We would still put our own touch to it. We would definitely. We would probably make it a little more heavier than it is, just because that's our style a little bit,
Put some pep in the step.
Yeah, a little pep in the step.
And that would be quite an experience.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be. What do you guys think of the current music industry? Like Spotify is not really paying artists, indie artists. What do you think of the future of the music industry? Like, what do you feel about AI and all that?
Um, I don't know. It seems like everything's going to be able to. I think all the genres of music are going to end up merging as one. Um, Everybody's just going to cover everything. Uh, but the Spotify, like, I mean, everybody that's high up as a corporation or anything is just going to be, they're going to be out for them. They don't care about who's underneath them. The same way with the government, it's just not that way. Um, you know, it, everybody's trying to control everything, and
Yeah.
I wish we still had where we could do vinyl records. Where I mean, you can, but I mean, it's not as regular as it used to be. People don't even use CDs no more.
That's the best quality.
Well, I was talking to one band, and they said that they found one company that actually pressed vinyl, but it was out in Europe. So I think it was either Poland or Romania, but there was a company down there, and so they
Oh,
had a few albums released, and also Jack White from the White Stripes. He also had a few albums. Like if you wanted to get a vinyl, like even some artists these days and bands, they are releasing music on vinyl because
yes,
apparently it sounds better than
vinyl is coming back.
So it's bell bottoms and plaid.
yeah,
Like, I mean,
exactly.
I've got vinyls at my house. I've bought vinyls for. I've got record players for my kids. I bought them vinyls. Like, I've got my dad's. Well, I'm getting my dad's whole album collection from when he was growing up. Like,
Oh
he's got
wow,
bukus of albums in there. Like, and they're all rock. Like most of them are rock. And
wow,
it's. I mean,
it's
I wish
amazing. Wow,
I
yeah.
wish vinyl would come back as a as a normal thing. Because right now everybody's getting all their stuff on their cell phone or their tablet or their,
Quality is good.
or people are just subscribing to Spotify or Amazon Music or anything like that, and they're just getting whatever music they want, you know, for one price, and it's I mean, it does hurt the industry a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, I mean, a lot of artists are actually creating music and releasing it in the comfort of their own home using like software like Pro Tools, Cubase. There's an iPhone app called the Demo app, which allows you to write music. And I forget her name, but she downloaded the Demo app. She started using it, and then lo and behold, within a few months, she had a single that she wrote on her iPhone released. And creating your own music and releasing it, it's a lot better than going through record producer and directors and hopefully the recording um you know that will get out and people will want the album.
Yeah,
I was just actually in December. I was at down here. There's the Metal Works. It's a recording studio. Prince, David Bowie, Drake. They all recorded and released albums there, and it was neat to see one of these old, like I guess you call old recording studios with the switches and the all the levers and everything from back in the 70s. Is they're actually still using them,
yeah,
and the recording studio and the guy that actually handles uh, the actual studio device. He says it would take anywhere between 6 months to a year just to release an album. That even for a song, it takes a long time. And I'm just like, wow, I can't
yeah,
imagine. But now you can just say, oh, here's an iPhone, beep beep beep, and there you go. There's a song.
yeah.
Um, so anyone can write a song and do an album, and you could just be some guy sitting on a couch eating potato chips and, hey, my latest single has gone platinum. Where's my check? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys stay connected with your fans and build a strong fan base?
April. April is the whole reason that happens. April runs our all of our social media. She has been a huge asset since she has come on. She started last June. And since then, she has helped our fan base grow tremendously. She interacts on the page. She makes posts daily. She goes out and personally advertises for us as well, posting posters up, business cards.
600 pictures to show.
Like she takes all of our pictures at the shows. Like some shows, she'll end up taking like
she's great
300 pictures. You know, like, and you know she may not post them all, but I mean it's different. You know, like she's done a whole bunch for us. Before her,
she's great. April Pruitt. She's great. Yeah.
She before her, I tried to do it, and I have done nothing that she has done. Like she took it to the next level, and I don't think we can ever repay her for what she's done for us. Like she has been a huge aspect to helping us.
Yeah, and with all the work she does for you, I wonder how she handles her mental health as well. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do that.
From what she has told me, this helping with the band is her stress relief for her own mental health. Because it helps her divert her thoughts on other things to something that's going to be positive and helping somebody. She's the one she's contacted so many people with the drives we did. She helped get the word out on that. She's been great.
Shout out to April Pruitt, Media Marketing Manager for LouD.
Yep. Cupcake Media on Facebook. Make sure you follow it. Cupcake Media.
Yeah. So before a performance, when you go out, do you have any like performance ritual?
I don't know what we're about.
You can't just go there and then.
It depends on what we're allowed to talk about on this podcast.
Read between the lines.
You have girls waiting for you or something?
No. So, like I said, we all get together before the show, and we all get in the same state of mind. Same mindset, and that is our pre-show ritual. It just helps us start the night off right. You know.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you have April. Anything to help an indie artist or band get their name out there, and then allows you to perform. How is the whole money issue handled?
I mean, we end up we end up splitting it among everybody. We have Kathy who books our shows, and she does all the bookings for us. So she gets a certain percentage, and then we take the rest of it and disperse it equally among us. With that, I think it's a fair way.
Yeah, I would expect that you would have to pay April as well. So she would take the money and then, here you go, Johnny. Here you go, Brian. Here you go, Chris. Here you go, Cory. Okay, this is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
so honest, so happy that you have her. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot. She's done a lot for us. She's bought us things to throw out, like pens, guitar picks, bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
She's gotten our business cards printed out. She has contributed a lot to this band. Yeah.
Good. Woo! April. So what is next for you? Because I see that you released 2 singles on Spotify, but what's next? Besides your also the 3 festivals so far and Virginia and 420 Festival and all that. So what happens after all that is done?
Well, we are currently working on original music. We hope to have some of that out here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
We are very excited to play at the 420 Festival here in Virginia. We can't wait. There's going to be that's going to be a huge opportunity for us. We're also playing at the festival in the park. Downtown Roanoke pretty much shuts down, and they just have vendors, car shows, crafts, and stages for bands, and they just shut down all of downtown, and it's great. So we're looking forward to all that. But yeah, I would say our next big step is releasing our original music that we've been working on.
I take it April is at all of your functions and all of your festivals and all your sessions.
She's
She
at a
travels
majority.
with you. She like
She's at most. Yeah, she's at most of them. Sometimes she's not able to make it, but she's at most of our shows. Yes.
That's awesome. Then don't want to like when you're playing, do you ever forget lyrics to the songs? What do you do?
Not if you have a cell phone.
Yeah, actually, or I'll sing the wrong verse. It's
called live music, man.
Yeah, it's called live music.
Once you make you got to roll through it.
But like I said, if I mess up, these guys know where to go, and they instantly follow me. So even if I do mess up, if the crowd doesn't notice it, they're not going to, because we're tight. Like, we're tight. I mean, it depends on how drunk the crowd is too.
It was the shortest version ever.
Wow.
Chris said
this is amazing.
Things. It was the shortest version ever.
I totally missed the solo section.
Man, you missed all of it.
Well, we're going to make sure that we're going to link everything down below, their music at Spotify and their YouTube channel and all their socials. So much appreciative of this interview. It's opportunity to interview LouD, the capital D. And okay, everyone, LouD with Cory and Johnny and Chris, the drummer, and Brian is not in the actual podcast. So we are going to end the stream, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Keep it loud.
Peace. Oh, peace.